Thanks for joining us on Power Lunch. This is Bloomberg Quint. I'm Harsha Subramaniam. The headlines at this hour. Range-bound trade on Dalal Street. Nifty hovers around 11,000. Metal stocks lead the run today. Kotak Mahindra Bank's Q1 profit misses estimates, but asset quality improves. Bajaj Finance stock slumps as first quarter profit marginally misses estimates. Idea Cellular loses customers in May even as rivals added new users. Reliance Jio gains 90 lakh plus subscribers for the third consecutive month. First, the markets. Metal stocks seem to be leading the rally today in what has been an otherwise range-bound session. Neeraj is here with a closer look.
Hey, afternoon, Harsha. So, well, save Hindalco, and I think Alco has got to be blamed for that because that profit warning or the cut in estimates led to stocks like Hindalco, to an extent even Nalco coming off a bit. But the others, well, compared to what they've done in the recent past, have done reasonably okay. So the likes of Vedanta, Tata Steel, etc. Carnage for the last few days. In today's session, they seem to be doing reasonably okay for themselves. All of them, without exception, are either marginally in the green or just about broken in the red, as Tata Steel will show you. The interesting bit is, we were talking about this in the morning, that the stocks like Bajaj Finance, which is down, or Kotak Bank, which reacted ever so marginally, the valuations are so punchy and they're so priced to perfection in that sense that slightest bit of miss, or there is no room for a slightest bit of miss. And there has been a small miss here and there in both of these, and which is why these knee-jerk reactions. Bajaj Finance at a point of time was down about 5%, so that's recovered a little bit, but that's interesting in trade. The broader end of the spectrum don't have too many patterns, fixed patterns right now. I mean, sugar too, despite the rise, has just gone down and come back, but individual stocks are reacting thick and fast to their numbers, and that's the order of the day. A lot of losers, the likes of Moltech Packaging, some very high, well-run stocks which have come off, and we are awaiting the numbers from Sterlite Technologies, which is a high flyer too. So that is something to watch out for. Just one last thing to monitor, Harsha. The volumes today will be high because it's the Nifty Bank expiry. Yesterday, without the expiry being there, the volumes had moved up substantially. At the same time, you would remember, Agam was talking about how the volumes were northwards of about 7 lakh crores. We are already about 10 lakh crores on the NSE FNO. Suffice to say, we'll be nudging that 17, 18 lakh crore mark by the end of trade today.
Interesting, that, Neeraj. Thank you so much for that. That's the markets for you. And we're going to talk about Kotak Mahindra Bank. That stock has been under pressure after a drop in trade, after earnings disappointed. The private lender posted a decent growth in the first quarter, although on much lower than expected. Shraddha is standing by with the fine print of Kotak's numbers.
Yes, Harsha, while there has been a bottom line miss, that can largely be attributed to the significant jump that we have seen in the provisioning number for the quarter. We don't have a breakup of what that provision is for, but that has led to a lower than expected growth of 12.3%. The number is coming at 1,025 crores as compared to about 1,200 crores that the street was working with. On the other hand, asset quality has seen improvement, so you have both those factors, opposing factors which are actually weighing on the stock. If you look at the fee income growth for the quarter, that has come in at 22%. The operating profit has also grown by 27%, but the provisions have risen to 469 crores as compared to 307 crores in the March ended quarter. Loan book growth has come in line with estimates at about 24%. Retail book has grown at 28% and corporate book at 21%, more or less in line with what we were expecting. The bank has said that they haven't made use of the RBI's dispensation to amortize MTM losses over a 4-quarter period. They've taken all the hit in this quarter itself, and that's something that could have been weighing on the bottom line numbers. As far as the gross NPA number is concerned, it has come in at 2.17% versus 2.22% in the March ended quarter. So, the trend has been on the downside. SMA 2 outstanding, however, has risen to 189 crores as compared to 72 crores in the previous quarter. There's a marginal increase. We'll have to understand why that has happened. But overall, as far as the GNPA number is concerned, seems to, portrays a good picture. But there has been a miss as far as the bottom line numbers are concerned.
Shraddha, thank you for that. Hold that thought. We're going to talk about Bajaj Finance as well. That's fallen as well, the most in nearly 4 months after reporting first quarter numbers. The stock is the worst performer on the Nifty today. What happened with Bajaj Finance this time, Shraddha?
Harsha, this could to some extent be attributed to the change in the accounting norms. That is, NBFCs is the first quarter that they have to report numbers according to Ind AS, and that's probably, in fact, the P&L statement has also been restated. The year ago comparable numbers also, and hence your consolidated profit looks optically much higher. So the consolidated profit has come in at 836 crores, which implies a growth of 81% over the base quarter, but again more to do with restatement of the prior quarter numbers. Otherwise, it is in line with what the street was working with. Provisions have come in at 327 crores versus 305 crores last year. AUM growth hasn't disappointed either, 35% in line with estimates. In fact, if you adjust for the IPO financing growth boost that they had received to their AUM in the base quarter, then the AUM growth would be much higher at 39%. So no disappointment on that front. Gross NPA numbers also based on the new accounting format have come in at 1.39% versus the number of 1.48% on a sequential basis. We don't actually have the comparable gross NPA number, the restated number. So let's hold on till we get more clarity on that. But even at 1.39%, the gross NPA number doesn't look too steep. So it's probably to some extent also to do with profit booking. That's probably something that's playing on the stock.
Shraddha, thank you. That's Bajaj Finance for you. But let's talk about IT. Mindtree has fallen in trade today after first quarter margins dropped more than anticipated. But the management is confident of improving profitability for the full financial year. Bloomberg with Nishant caught up with Parthasarthi, or the COO of the company, to talk about the growth strategy and the way forward for Mindtree. Listen in.
I think our focus in terms of digital and investing in the right technologies has paid off. I think with the right kind of technology and the skills that we have, expertise that we have, the reskilling approach that we have taken is resulting in a lot of trust that the customers have in terms of giving us much more impactful projects, and that has led to the growth, number one. Number two is actually some of the large deals that we won a couple of quarters back. I think they've all fully scaled up, and that also resulted in significant growth in this quarter.
Right. After many years of wait and watch mode in the BFSI segment, and industry is seeing a recovery. What kind of traction you are seeing there, and do you think the momentum will continue for a while now?
I believe it's still early stages for us to conclude that the recovery is on fully. It's a wait and watch mode continue for us. But I think we are fairly confident in the limited space that we are in within the BFSI, especially in the insurance space. I think we will see a growth going forward in this year itself.
Right. And how would you peg the performance of traditional run the business to the new age businesses?
So I think we want to focus on both. Obviously, there is a significant investment that we have to make in digital because these are some of the newer technologies. But if you look at customer spends, it happens in both the run the business as well as grow the business. And I think we will continue to focus on both. If you look at this quarter specifically, about 47% of our revenues comes from digital, and digital is growing it faster than Mindtree. At the same time, if you look at the traditional services, whether it is testing and automation testing, as well as infrastructure businesses, both of them have grown by upwards of 10%. So I think we want to continuously focus on both because both are explicit needs that the customers express in us.
Right. You mentioned about the revenue. Majority of the revenue continues to come from the top clients. What is your outlook on client concentration?
No, I think we are very, very mindful of the fact that that client concentration is a concern many people have expressed. But we come with a lot of confidence for multiple reasons. One, all the renewals that we have had with the top client is backed by very solid delivery that we have done for many years. Number one. Second is we are in the sweet spot as far as the customer is concerned in terms of the kind of work that we do. Third is actually we are spread ourselves into multiple business units within the organization. That's a large customer. Having said that, I think our revenues from the top customer is still much, much smaller compared to many other players who are in the same customer base. So I think we are confident that we'll continue to have growth in the customer. At the same time, we are also mindful to ensure that we want to grow the top 2 to 20 customers as well. If you look at this quarter, the top 2 to 20 customers have grown pretty well, and we will continue to focus on growing that as well.
Right. And what about diversification of your client base so that you're not dependent on top clients for the revenue growth?
And that is a focus that we are doing on the 2 to 20 customers. 2 to 20 customers, we are trying to invest significantly in terms of finding out right opportunities, having the right kind of people, and ensuring that we understand the pain point of the customers, and then so that you get opportunities to work in the space.
Right. And what about the emerging verticals like travel, hospitality, manufacturing? What's your outlook for that? And what kind of conversations you're having with the clients?
I think this quarter, we have seen good progress in every vertical. So I think there are investments that we have made both in digital as well as in the domain. I think that's paying off. So we will continue to focus on that. I think one of the things we strongly believe in, we are in few verticals, and I think we believe strategy is all about having a focus. And we are focused on these 4 verticals, and we'll continue to invest in these verticals. And I think it will pay off for us in this year itself.
That's the management of Mindtree. Let's talk about ONGC now. Bunch of things that have happened in ONGC, approval for a merger, a stake sale, a slight change in policy on the whole. They're all buying ONGC shares today. The stock is up about 1.5%. Saket Sundaria, Bloomberg News is here with more details. Saket, as I said, a bunch of smaller developments. But first, their own position on what they've done with Pawan Hans. Take us through what is going on.
Harsh, I will take up with the stock reaction first. And the stock has moved up almost 4% in the last 3 days. That's one of the best runs the company has had in the last few months. And a lot of things has been happening, as you said. Pawan Hans is a strategic investment for ONGC, and the government is looking to sell its majority stake, which is about 51% in Pawan Hans. So it's ONGC decided that's the right time for it to exit as well, because it doesn't make sense for them to hold the stake anymore. They use only 7 of Pawan Hans's 40 plus helicopters and choppers that they operate, and it's about 1/3 of what is total requirement of ONGC. So they have now decided to sell their stake when the government sells, and that is likely to happen by March, which essentially will free up a lot of cash for ONGC to be used in exploration and production.
The tweaking of rules of NELP, what material difference does it make?
It does make some difference, though it's not yet clear exactly which blocks will be affected. There are some 7 blocks which will come under this. So essentially these are really old blocks with falling production. One of the biggest block was freed up long ago, 6 years ago, when Vedanta was buying cane. There the government changed condition to reduce ONGC's tax burden. Something similar is happening with the other blocks now. Overall financial impact, it will take some time. Analysts are still trying to figure out, but it will certainly reduce the tax burden, which will mean that ONGC will have some more cash to invest in its main business.
The last one, the merger.
That's something which has been going on for a while, immediately after ONGC acquired HPCL, and there are 2 other subsidiaries of ONGC and MRP of ONGC which essentially are into similar business, which is refining and petrochemicals. MRPL has a refining and petrochemical unit, and OMPL is a unit of both ONGC and MRPL. It's a joint venture. So essentially ONGC is looking at merging all 3 under one umbrella, which is HPCL. Now how it is done is yet to be known, because there are 2 ways of doing it, either through a stock swap or by HPCL paying up ONGC for the stake, which will be a bigger positive for ONGC because they can get more cash, and HPCL right now has less of debt worries, so they can probably afford it.
Okay, that's the ONGC stock for you. The stock is up about 1.5%, as you mentioned. 4%, Saket points out, in the last 3-4 days, ONGC. Let's move on. India's telecom customer base keeps on expanding, Jio contributing a significant part of subscriber additions. The telecom regulator's data for May shows that Airtel benefited from the Telenor merger and Idea lost market share. Samit is standing by with a closer look of what's going on in the telecom sector. Samit.
So in the month of May, if you see, Idea Cellular lost the most number of subscribers compared to other players. Idea Cellular lost close to 25 lakh subscribers in the month of May, wherein the industry added close to 59 lakh subscribers. Among the other players, Vodafone India added nearly 4 lakh subscribers, while BSNL added close to 5 lakh subscribers. Reliance Jio subscriber base increased by close to 93.5 lakh in the month of May, whereas Bharti Airtel subscriber base increased by 3.6 crore, and that is because of the merger with Telenor. Now, the Telenor merger was completed in the May month, and because of which the Telenor subscribers were merged with Bharti Airtel, and that is the reason why the subscriber base for Bharti Airtel increased by 3.6 crore. Among the few things to watch out for would be Reliance Communication has stopped reporting its subscriber number. Along with this, among the smaller players, Tata Teleservices and MTNL continue to lose subscribers even in the month of May. Now, interestingly, Reliance Jio, which has added close to 90 lakh plus subscribers for the 3rd consecutive month, has seen some traction from rural subscribers. Among the 93.5 lakh subscribers added in the month of May, 48% were rural subscribers, and this has been increasing for Reliance Jio. Now, if you see, in October 2017, 29% of the net addition were rural subscribers, which has now increased to 48% for the month of May 2018, and this could be partially because of the launch of Jio Phone that the company had done in the last AGM. Now, if you see on the market share front, Bharti Airtel's market share has increased to 30.5% from 27.4%, and this is because of the Telenor merger, while that of Vodafone India has remained largely stable at 19.7%. This is the customer market share that we are talking about. Idea Cellular's market share has come down to 18.9%, while that of Reliance Jio has yet again increased to 18.2%. Among the smaller players, that is MTNL, BSNL, Tata Teleservices and Reliance Communication, their total market share has come down to 12.7% versus 16.2% in the last month. Also because of consolidation, now if you see the active subscriber base, that has come down. For the industry, it has come down to 87% from 90% in the last month, while that for major players, Bharti Airtel has come down to 95.3%. For Vodafone India, it has come down to 94%. For Idea Cellular, it has remained same at 96%, while that for Reliance Jio, it has come down to 83.6% from 85.8% in the last month.
Soumya, thank you for that. That's the telecom space. We're going to talk about HDFC AMC. It will head to the primary markets next week. The 2,800 crore IPO will open for subscription on the 25th of July at 1,100 rupees a piece. Is the issue fairly priced? Sajid caught up with the management on the rationale behind the pricing. In fact, he joins us now with us in the studio. What's the management sort of logic behind this, Sajid?
You know, if you look at the pricing of AMCs, we have to look at the the market cap to AUM ratio which is there. In the case of HDFC AMC, it's coming around to 7.4, 7.5. It has over 3 lakhs of AUM at the end of June, and so based on that, it's that. You compare it to the nearest peer, which is Reliance Nippon, it's coming to 5.4, and that's the question I posed to Deepak Parekh, saying that if Reliance Nippon is number 4 in the industry, it has a market cap of 13,000. You are coming to the market and seeking a market cap of 24,000 crores, which is much higher. Of course, there will be a premium that will go to an HDFC brand, because all HDFC brands have a premium compared to the competitors. But is that justified? So he was very categorical. He said that all our IPOs or all our fundraising are be done with one thing in mind, that the investor takes some returns back. While we do do it for purpose of finance, it is also looked at that they should take some returns as part of it. And this IPO also has something on the table for them. That's what Milind Bharve, who is the MD and CEO of the AMC, he was much more categorical. He said, if you look at, you cannot compare both of them, because the core income of HDFC is nearly 90% higher than Reliance Nippon. They have much more retail assets, and their equity assets are much more than Reliance Nippon. So that's a justification they have given. Let's hear out what the management is saying.
This is the 5th company we are listing, and our philosophy has always been to leave money on the table. Leave enough money on the table so the investors are there not to finance you but to make a return. So we feel that we have left some money on the table for the investors, and we've not fully priced it. We are always conservative in pricing issues. We don't have a single company in our group where investors have lost money so far, and we don't want that to happen with this issue. So we've discussed it with different people, we've discussed it with our bankers, and consensus has been that 1,100 would be a reasonable price.
Mr. Bharve, I was looking at the next listed peer, Reliance Nippon. It has a market cap of nearly 13,000 crores. 13,000 crores, and you will be coming at somewhere around 28,000 crores. That's almost double. Of course, the pedigree will get a kind of the valuation as well. But are you comfortable with the kind of valuation which it is been priced at?
It won't be very fair to sort of draw a comparison and speak vis-a-vis the valuation of another company which is a peer, and we all respect our competitors and peers. But the business is indeed quite different. For example, we are more than 65,000 crores higher in AUM. More importantly, our equity business is significantly larger. We are almost 56 to 60,000 crores ahead on the equity AUM. Our equity AUM is almost 50% or more. I think the Reliance number is probably a little less. They're a very good, strong fund house. I think the most important thing is that the asset management company makes revenues in 2 forms, which is the core operating profit of the asset management business, and then there is some other income. If you just compare the operating profit from the core asset management business, our operating profit is almost 90% higher than what is been given by Reliance. So in some sense, it's a great company, but the numbers and the business and the financial parameters are distinctly different.
Fascinating. That's the HDFC AMC IPO. But the broader question, HDFC is also looking to put in place a succession plan for its various businesses. Sajid, you had a chance to talk to Mr. Parekh about this. So, I mean, this has been in the offing. He's spoken about it recently. What did he have to say?
Yeah, he spoke about it, or in fact, he wrote to the shareholders that age is catching up with the top management, and the board is aware of it, and so we need to put a succession plan. So I was trying to probe him. What is it? Because you have a good second line of leaders within the HDFC group, and the bandwidth is good enough for there. So, but Parekh surprised me. He said that if you're number two, it doesn't mean that you automatically become number one. That means that he's looking out for someone from outside. And then he went on to tell me that we have a number of companies which have a high market caps, which has huge institutional investors in it. And so we have to go through a process, look at candidates from outside and see so that we can satisfy our institutional stakeholders. Remember, if you look at HDFC itself, institutional shareholders make up a large portion of its shareholding. And so he has to satisfy them more than he has to satisfy internal candidates. Let's hear it.
Let's listen into that.
Each company has their own plans. Each company will have to sort out their own succession plans, and each company's board is aware of it, has taken cognizance of it, that in a year, 2-3 years, the senior management has to move on. So it has, I just mentioned it because we are concerned. We are thinking about it.
But why will you be concerned? Because you have good 2 second-tier managers.
We have managers, but the process has to have gone through, and it's not automatic that the number 2 becomes number 1, because you have to go through the marketplace. You have to get the best talent possible. Sizes of our companies are high, market caps are high. We have to do a process that satisfies international
So far, you have brought in talent from in-house.
We have always taken talent from in-house. So we'll have to see. But first is my case. I have to step down sometime as non-executive chairman of the group.
You have put a timeline to that?
Well, next 2-3 years, I'll have to 2 years.
Well, that's the question. Deepak Parekh and succession for HDFC. Sajid, thank you so much for joining us with those details. Let's move on. The government of India has increased the maximum weight that heavy trucks can carry for the first time in 35 years. The Road Transport Ministry's notification paves the way for the carrying capacity of trucks to be increased by nearly 20 or 25%. The new norms will be applicable on both old and new vehicles. But how much will these new norms reduce the costs of logistics costs? Soumit has been speaking to a few companies and he joins us with more details. Does this make a material difference? How much will the cost go down by?
So we spoke to 3 logistic companies to understand how this move is going to impact the logistics space in India. Now, the CEO of Allcar Future Supply Chain Logistics says that the logistic in India is highly inefficient as the cost is higher compared to the global averages. However, this move of relaxing the axle load is a step in the right direction as it will further reduce the logistics cost in India. This is what the CEO of Future Supply Chain said. Now, currently, the logistic cost is close to 14% of the GDP, while the government is aiming to bring this down to around 10% by 2022. And this move of relaxing the axle load will bring down the logistics cost in India, according to the CEO of Future Supply Chain. Now, Adarsh Hegde, who is the joint manager of All Cargo Logistics, says that the supply chain operations will be largely streamlined by this move and the logistic cost will substantially come down. However, they are not giving any estimates of how much the cost is going to come down, but they are all saying that the cost will come down. Now, he's also saying that this will exert a positive impact on the movement of goods across state. That is what Adarsh Hegde, the joint managing director of All Cargo Logistics, said. However, on the flip side, Vineet Agarwal, the chief executive officer of Transport Corporation of India, is saying that this cost will not impact the logistic cost in India because the other input costs, that is the fuel cost and wages, have increased on the other hand, and that's the reason this move of relaxing the axle load will not lower the logistic cost in India substantially.
Soumit, thank you for that. News on your screen on what's going on with the currency. The rupee is hovering around 68.97 to the dollar mark. Watch out for what is going on during an intraday. But that's the rupee for you, inching in on the 69 to the dollar mark at 68.99. Politics. The NDA government is set to face a trust vote tomorrow, while the BJP and its allies have the numbers in parliament. The opposition is intent to use the time to highlight the failures of this government. Here's what senior Congress leader Manish Tiwari and BJP spokesperson Gopal Agarwal had to say.
The entire purpose of a no confidence motion is to secure the fall of the government. Otherwise, there are other parliamentary instruments which are available, which can be energized and exercised. The nation is up a creek without a paddle. So therefore, if you look at any government, its performance can be qualified on 5 benchmarks. The first is social cohesion, which is in tatters. The second is political stability, and you've seen unprecedented assaults on the federal system over the past 4.5 years. The third is economic development, where you do not even know as to who the current finance minister of India is. There is a blogging finance minister and there's a pretending finance minister. Internal security is best characterized by the mishandling of Kashmir. And on international relations, you've seen the unprecedented surrender of India's sovereignty to China by this government when they have decided to scrap the Mountain Strike Corps. So therefore, I think if you look at it holistically, the performance of the government over the past 4 years is in the dock.
With the problems in the country, they are creating a wrong perception in the mind. It's a fit and golden opportunity for us to answer them and create break the facade which the Congress is trying to build in the nation. So I think Prime Minister will answer every question, and those from our leaders who will get an opportunity to speak on no confidence will completely demolish the false perception that the Congress and opposition parties with regard to Andhra, with regard to lynching, with regard to cow vigilantism or anything, or with regard to economy, with regard to governance, corruption, all these issues, we have delivered a lot.
You heard both sides of the political debate on what the BJP and the Congress had to say. Let's get an external voice. Vinod Sharma, political editor at Hindustan Times, now joins us on the phone line. Vinod, thank you so much for joining us. What have you made of this development? Does this make a material difference at all, since the NDA anyway has the numbers?
You see, please remove the confusion that confidence vote is meant to dislodge government. It is also meant to wake up and shake up government and create for the opposition a platform to make the government accountable. Why the confidence vote? Why the no trust vote? Now the debate which will happen in Parliament tomorrow, that is Lok Sabha, it will be an omnibus debate. It will be a wholesome debate. Every issue can be raised under the sun because it is a no trust vote, and you can speak on foreign policy, you can speak on economic policy, you can speak on internal security, you can speak on the social policies of this government, which are causing so much of tension in the society. So I think that this trust vote, no trust vote, should be perceived in that manner, not that whether the government will survive or not. Remember 1996, Vajpayee took a trust vote knowing full well he had no numbers. But he used that debate to generate sympathy for himself.
Correct.
So, by the same logic, the opposition today doesn't have numbers, but it can generate traction amongst people for the issues that are of concern to it and that are touching people themselves. So, this is, I think, parliamentary democratic politics at its best. You see, when Parliament debates on a motion as serious as no trust, then the debate has to be wholesome, and there would not be, I'm sure, any disturbances from either side. Because whoever tries to interrupt or derail this debate will be seen in a negative light. So this is a good, happy augury. I'm very happy the government has accepted this. I'm happy that I'm looking forward to seeing the debate or hearing the debate tomorrow. And then let's see whether what the government has to say on the state of the agrarian sector, what the government has to say on foreign policy.
Sure.
People will ask the Prime Minister as to what happened between him and Xi Jinping during the informal summit, quote unquote.
Okay, I have only one little question, Mr. Sharma. Okay, so while this doesn't question the stability of the government at all, do you find yourself on issues the government being forced on the mat? Where do you think the government will sort of find itself in an uncomfortable position?
Well, of You see a number of incidents which are happening where people associated with is the larger Sangh Parivar are taking the law into their hands. There has been this, direction by the Supreme Court for having a code for reining in these lynch mobs, which are on the prowl all the while. The other day we saw a very revered leader who's as much of a saint, being manhandled in public and being insulted and humiliated in Jharkhand. And then a minister there saying that this guy is an old-time fraud. I mean, what kind of a society have we become? So I think on this, the government should have something to say. They should be able to convince the people if they have any convincing point to offer. I mean, you see, the point is that what is happening today is that the defense minister of a country takes upon herself to accuse the most prominent leader of the opposition that from Janeu Dhari he has become Muslim Dhari. And she forgets that there are a large number of Muslim citizens of this country who are members of Indian Army, who are soldiers, who are officers. Is this not serious enough issue to debate? Leave aside foreign policy. Leave aside economy. How will you get foreign direct investment in a country where the society is at peace with itself? Would capital come to a society that is in ferment? So these are serious issues. And then about the farmers, you can't just make a claim that it's an unprecedented hike and a very pliant media will sing in chorus with you.
Fair enough. Mr. Sharma, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much, Need, for joining us with your views. We'll wait and watch how the debate unfolds in Parliament tomorrow. The no confidence motions will be passed in Lok Sabha. Watch out for an interesting debate. Out of time on the show on this edition of Lunch. On the other side, an interesting conversation navigating through uncertainty. Bharat Iyer of JP Morgan will join on the other side.